Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Always.
So, this one's pretty wild. Amazon just dropped a bombshell at CES 2025.
Oh, yeah.
It's called the Amazon Retail Ad Service, and it could totally change online shopping as we know it. I mean, this is way bigger than just like
Right.
seeing another banner ad, you know?
Way bigger.
Things like Amazon sharing its secret sauce for how they recommend stuff you didn't even know you needed, but with other retailers.
That's a good way to put it. What I think is so interesting here is that Amazon is basically offering its ad expertise up as a service.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like they're saying, hey, retailers, we've figured out this whole targeted advertising thing with like really powerful tech.
Yeah.
One in.
So it's less about those annoying ads that follow you everywhere and more about like a shopping experience that feels personalized, helpful.
Absolutely.
Almost like...
Like you've got, like having a personal shopper who just gets your taste.
Exactly. Imagine like you're on Best Buy's website looking for a new phone. Okay.
With this service, Best Buy could use Amazon's tech to show you ads for
With accessories and stuff.
cases that fit that exact model or screen protectors, maybe even like a discount on a new data plan. It's about making that whole shopping journey smoother and honestly more tempting.
Okay, I get it. That makes sense. But how does it actually work? Like, does Amazon just hand over some magic formula?
No, not quite a magic formula, but it is pretty high tech.
Okay.
Amazon built this service on AWS, their cloud platform, and it uses the same machine learning tech that powers their own recommendations.
Machine learning.
Yeah.
So for those of us who aren't like total tech wizards, could you maybe break that down a little?
Sure. Think of it like how Netflix suggests movies you might like based on what you've watched before.
Right.
It learns what you like and tries to predict what you'll enjoy.
Yeah.
This is kind of similar, but instead of movies,
Yeah.
it's looking at your shopping habits.
Yeah.
Like what you click on, what you buy, even how long you spend looking at certain products.
Interesting.
Yeah, and all that to figure out what you might be interested in next.
So it's like having a super observant friend who's always suggesting things you might like based on what they know about you.
Precisely. And this is where it gets really interesting for retailers.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Well, think about it. You've got a smaller company like iHerb,
They sell like natural products.
right? They have great products, but they don't have Amazon's giant budget to build their own fancy ad platform.
Right?
And suddenly, boom, they've got access to the same advertising power as the big guys.
So it's like leveling the playing field a little bit.
Yeah.
Giving smaller businesses a fighting chance.
Exactly. That's what we call scalability, the ability to reach way more people and potentially make a lot more sales.
And it's not just about getting more people to see their products. It's about
Right.
getting it in front of the right people.
Right.
People who are actually interested in what they're selling.
Exactly.
Okay, I see that. More targeted ads could mean happier customers and maybe bigger profits for retailers.
Right.
But let's be honest here. It sounds almost too good to be true. Are there downsides for retailers who jump on this Amazon bandwagon?
That's a great question. And it's important to look at both sides of the coin here.
Okay.
I think one concern is reliance.
Reliance.
Yeah. If a retailer gets too dependent on Amazon's tech warning, what happens if Amazon changes their policies or their pricing?
Yeah.
They could end up in a tough spot.
Like putting all your eggs in one basket, a very big basket with a very prominent Amazon logo on it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then there's the whole issue of customer data. We all know data is like gold in the digital world, right?
Right.
So data sharing is a big consideration here. When retailers use this service, they're giving Amazon access to even more customer data.
That's true.
And that raises some serious privacy concerns. Retailers have to be completely upfront with their customers about how that data is being used.
Transparency is key, for sure. But and let's be real, Amazon's not doing this out of pure generosity.
No, definitely not.
There's something in it for them, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is a smart business move for Amazon.
Oh.
It opens up a huge new source of revenue. Plus, it gives them even more control over the e-commerce and advertising worlds.
So it's like a win-win for them. They get more money and more power.
Pretty much.
So while this new service could be a big deal for retailers and make our online shopping a little less chaotic,
Yeah.
it's important to remember that Amazon is still a business with its own interests.
Absolutely. And as this tech starts to roll out, it's going to be fascinating to see if it really does improve online shopping or if it just becomes another battle for our attention.
All right, so we've talked about how this could be a game changer for retailers big and small and how it fits into Amazon's big picture strategy. But what does this mean for the everyday online shopper? Someone like you listening right now, we'll dive into that right after this.
That's good.
And we're back. So now let's think about this from your perspective, the person actually shopping online. What does Amazon's new service mean for you?
Yeah, this is where it gets kind of tricky. There's potential for it to be both good and bad, honestly. And a lot depends on how retailers actually use it.
Okay, so play devil's advocate for me here. Let's start with the potential downsides.
Okay, so let's say you're looking for a very specific type of shoe, like a really comfortable walking sandal for a trip you're taking.
Okay.
You find a pair you like, but they're maybe a little more expensive than you wanted to spend.
Happens all the time.
Right. And then suddenly, everywhere you go online, ads for those exact sandals are following you. It's like they're haunting you.
Yes. Like the internet is judging my budget, which is not a good feeling.
And it can feel so intrusive, almost creepy.
Totally.
And that's a real risk with this type of targeted advertising. If retailers aren't careful, it can backfire and make shoppers feel like their privacy is being invaded.
Okay, so how do we avoid that? How do we avoid this future where we're constantly being bombarded by ads that feel more like stalker-ish reminders than like actually helpful suggestions?
That is the million-dollar question. I think a lot of it comes down to how transparent retailers are about data collection and how much control they actually give shoppers over their ad preferences. Like, imagine if you could actually tell a retailer, hey, I'm interested in this kind of product, but I don't want to see ads for that specific brand.
That would be amazing.
Right. Or like, I only want to see deals and discounts, that kind of thing.
So it's all about having control over your online experience.
Exactly. And some privacy advocates are pushing for tougher rules about how companies can collect and use our data. That's a changing landscape for sure. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential downsides. But what about the flip side? How could this technology actually make online shopping better for us?
Well, think about a time when you were shopping online and you found like the perfect product, something you didn't even know you needed.
Oh, yeah.
This technology could help make that happen more often. Instead of just seeing random ads all the time, you'd see suggestions for stuff that actually fits your needs and interests.
It's like the difference between digging through a messy bargain bin and having a personal stylist who picks out clothes just for you.
Exactly. And it could be more than just discovering new things. Like, imagine you're planning a camping trip and you're looking at tents online and an ad pops up for a sleeping bag that's designed to fit perfectly with that tent.
Oh, that's smart.
Right. Or maybe you're looking at a new camera and you see an ad for a photography class to help you use it. That's the kind of targeted advertising that could actually be helpful.
It's about making the whole shopping process better, not just interrupting it with random ads.
Right.
But, we've been hearing about these personalized shopping experiences for years. What makes this any different?
It all goes back to what we were talking about before, Amazon's machine learning. A lot of those earlier attempts at personalization were honestly pretty bad. They didn't really work that well. They relied on simple data, like your browsing history or past purchases, which doesn't tell the whole story about what you actually want.
Like trying to guess someone's favorite movie based on just their age and gender.
Right. You might get lucky sometimes, but you're probably going to be wrong most of the time.
Exactly.
But machine learning takes personalization to a whole new level. It analyzes tons of data, not just what you buy, but how you interact with products, what you read, what you watch, even what you post on social media.
It's like having a whole team of detectives trying to figure out what you'll do next.
Exactly. And that's where the potential for both good and bad really kicks in. In the hands of a responsible company, this tech could make shopping amazing. But if it's used in the wrong way, it can feel super intrusive and manipulative.
Like walking a tightrope between being convenient and being creepy.
Exactly.
So for someone listening to this right now, what can they do to handle this new world of ultra-personalized shopping?
I think the most important thing is to be aware. Pay attention to what data companies are collecting and how they're using it. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, don't just click accept on those cookie pop-ups without thinking.
Right. Take a second to figure out what you're actually agreeing to. And if you see a company doing something with advertising that feels wrong to you, don't support them.
It's like we all have a voice, and we can use it to shape how this all works out.
Absolutely. And you can also be proactive about your privacy settings. A lot of websites and apps let you adjust your ad preferences. Take a few minutes to check those out and make sure you're okay with what's being shared.
So we can take control of our own online experience.
Exactly. You decide how much you want to share. And you can always say no if something feels wrong.
So it's not just about protecting ourselves, it's about making sure the whole online world works in a way that's good for everyone.
Right. The more people demand transparency and control, the more companies will have to listen.
So it's bigger than just avoiding annoying ads. It's about making the future of online shopping fair for everyone.
Absolutely. It's about finding that sweet spot where personalization feels helpful, not creepy.
Okay, so we've talked about how this new service works, the potential upsides and downsides for both businesses and shoppers. But now let's hear what some actual retailers and experts are saying about it. What are the early reactions?
All right, so let's hear what people are actually saying about Amazon's new service. What's the buzz from retailers and all the experts out there?
Yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag so far, which, it's totally normal when something this new comes along.
Makes sense.
A lot of smaller retailers are pretty excited.
I bet.
They see this as a chance to finally compete with the big guys, tap into Amazon's massive advertising network, reach more people.
So it's like they're finally getting access to the same tools that the big companies have always had.
Exactly. But then you have the bigger retailers, the ones who spent a ton of money building their own ad systems.
They're a little more hesitant. They're not sure if they want to rely on Amazon.
Yeah, it's a tough choice, right? It's like they've built their own custom race car.
Right.
And now someone's offering them a super fast pre-built one.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you've got the privacy folks who are always worried about how this kind of tech could be misused.
Right.
They're not thrilled about Amazon having even more of our shopping data.
Yeah, that's a valid concern. So it sounds like we need to be careful and watch how this all plays out. Make sure the good outweighs the bad.
Exactly. And that's where you, the listener, come in.
Yeah.
The future of online shopping isn't just up to Amazon or big retailers. It's up to all of us.
A good point.
We have the power to make sure this tech gets used in a way that benefits everyone.
So what can we do? We've talked about paying attention to those data collection policies, but what else?
First of all, don't be afraid to speak up.
Yeah.
If you see an ad that feels creepy or wrong, tell the company. You can use social media, write reviews, send emails, let them know how you feel.
It's like we're all part of a giant focus group.
Yeah. And our feedback matters. And take control of your privacy settings. Most websites and apps have options to adjust your ad preferences.
Oh, yeah.
Spend a few minutes figuring those out. Make sure you're okay with what they're sharing.
So we can actually choose how much information we share online.
Exactly. You have the power to say no. And when you do that, it sends a message to the whole industry. The more people demand privacy, the more companies will have to listen.
So it's not just about avoiding a few annoying ads, it's about building a better online world for everyone.
Absolutely. It's about finding a balance where personalization feels helpful, not creepy.
So we've covered a lot today. We talked about how this new service works, what it means for businesses and shoppers, and all the potential upsides and downsides. And like you said, there are a lot more questions than answers right now. But hopefully this deep dive has given everyone a better idea of what to look out for.
Absolutely. And just remember, this world of technology is constantly changing. What's brand new today could be old news tomorrow, and there's always something new just around the corner.
The only constant is change, right?
Right. So stay curious. Keep asking questions.
Great advice. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Amazon's retail ad service.
It was fun.
We'd love to hear your thoughts. Are you excited about this or a little worried? Head over to our social media pages and let's keep the conversation going.
Yeah. Tell us what you think.
Until next time, happy shopping and stay curious, everyone.
Bye, everybody.